Just to help out a tad, we are certainly in range over here. Just about to fire out, are we? Yes, we are. Come on. Ready, going for the colonne d'attack. Absolutely brilliant. Lovely fire by rank going out there. Oh, you love to see it. Absolutely textbook ambush here. Hello, and welcome back everyone to our Napoleon Total War Let's Play as the Austrian Empire. Once again, we are starting in a little bit of a pickle, and that's because we have recently defeated a couple armies threatening us, one of which was a revolution in Rome, and we've only just dealt with that, of course, but at the cost of a couple regiments here, which we are reinforcing. Over the next turn, we should get some more experienced German Fusiliers over here. Might have been an idea to get some more skirmishers, but I think really we have been doing very, very well with our frontline backbone infantry here. So we're going to be absolutely fine with these. The problem is, if we move out, we're going to lose our neutral happiness over here. So the option here is to exempt the region from taxes to sort this out so that we can actually deal with the upcoming rebellion in Naples. You can see we are exempting them from taxes, but it's still -11 to the lower classes public order there. So we are going to have another revolution there, and this army is battered as well. So that's going to be very, very tough to deal with, unfortunately. Recruiting over here is not going to make much of a difference, unfortunately, to that. Although what we could do to make a small difference is, how long is this going to take to replenish? It is going to take a few turns to replenish a few of these units. We could at least, I think, get what we can over the end turn here, which is just 3 regiments, and just fill the gaps in here so that we can reinforce over here. Just some manpower is all we need to deal with that. Not going to bother repairing anything over here just yet because it will just get burnt down over the next turn, I believe. Did also deal with a French army over here, but we need to go back to Milan to replenish once again. We do have another army over here replenishing and reinforcing that. So that's not a problem over there. Prussia has taken Switzerland, which keeps the enemy off our back over there for the time being, but that does mean we'll have to take it back from Prussia at some point. Of course, France is still the main objective. Speaking of which, we do have Napoleon himself with a fairly nasty army over here in Marseilles, which is going to come our way very, very soon indeed. We have blocked his movement for this turn, I believe, but we'll have to keep at that as much as possible. I think we're going to keep this spy here for now. There's no need to keep him moving at the moment, so we're just going to end our turn as ever, and fingers crossed that we're able to get things done very, very swiftly indeed. Okay, so as expected, we do have a rebellion in Naples. Let's see how bad that is. A stack and a couple regiments over here, not exactly the worst. We can see a lot of it is in fact just militia. I would expect these are a lot of cannons as well, a lot of 6-pounders and of course a lot of hussars. So not the end of the world there with it being mostly militia, but they will siege down Naples very swiftly indeed. So what we want to do to deal with that, I think we're going to absolutely make use of our fresh regiments out of here. And what we're going to do is, of course, garrison Naples. We might even set up an ambush if possible. We certainly can. So we're going to ambush just here. That should cover the road. Let's have a look. That certainly does. You can see our sphere of influence in the yellow there does cover the road. So we want to swap out this regiment, possibly the cavalry. Or it might even have to be this regiment over here, because you can see that we only have 208 men out of, I think it's 360 or so. So let's bring those out. We'll put them back in Naples over here to make them safe. And we'll swap these over very quickly indeed. And that's looking a bit better for us there. Should be alright to defend Naples with a lovely little ambush there. We do have some fairly decent manpower across the board. This one with only 249 men is the greatest concern, along with this Chevaux Légers over here with only about half strength. We have our agent detected. Oh, okay, so we have an ambush detected over here, which is rather interesting indeed. But there's not a lot I want to do about that at the moment. We are going to pull back over here. There's rebellion in Switzerland, but it's only a minor one. Looks like it might have damaged the Prussian army over here, which is rather interesting indeed. There's another rebellion in Stuttgart as well, by the looks of it. Oh no, it's, yeah, the rebellion must have taken over. I'm pretty sure the Prussians did take Württemberg. It's rather interesting. A new nation arises. Yep, certainly has just come up. Absolutely brilliant. And the Kingdom of Bavaria has come back as well. So not a lot of order over here. The Prussians and the Russians cannot keep hold of their newly gained territory. And that seems to be a problem across the board with us as well. We do have a new court of justice in Transylvania as well. Because of the lovely repression over here, we're going to get some more tax, and the lower classes are going to like it. We do have some carronade frigates in the Adriatic as well. We'll go and check on those in just a second. We have reinforced the Papal States as well. So let's look at our port over here. We have the 86 gunner over here, and we have a carronade here and a carronade there. Not much of a navy at the moment. We're going to be making a couple more by the looks of it over the next few turns. Are we making anything over here? Next turn we'll get a couple 80 gunners over there, and that'll be a fairly decent minor raiding group over there. But we're still cautious of that massive French fleet we have previously sighted, and we can see another French stack over here, led by an Etienne Jacques MacDonald. Rather interesting. Etienne, of course, the name of Brigadier Gerard. If anyone has read the Arthur Conan Doyle books about Brigadier Gerard, very much worth a read if you're into historical fiction. And of course, Arthur Conan Doyle, very renowned author. We're going to sabotage Napoleon's movement once again to keep him at bay while we replenish over here. Not a lot of point in moving at the moment over here. Do we want to swap out our cannons? I think we leave our cannons at the moment, keep those there. But what we could do is, we don't have, the only cannon foundry we have is over here. Might as well make this great arsenal over here, or ordnance board rather, so we can get access to our howitzers. And I think that's actually a bloody good idea. While we have money, 6,000 gold, but 10 turns, a long wait, so we should get that going as swiftly as possible. How's our happiness across the board, actually? I think what we should do is invest some money into the Great Museum at Prague over here. That will increase our money per turn in the long run there. Money is always very useful indeed. How's our happiness look if we exit the Papal States? Rather low still. It's going to take a long time to help out there. I think what we do again is make a militia group over here. 4 or 5 should do the job. They should get a bonus to policing. They certainly do garrison policing bonus, which is why we make militia, to increase the military presence and repression of towns like we have done in Istanbul over here. In fact, how is that doing? Do we still need this? We certainly do. Look at all of that. That's going to take another 12 to 13 turns to keep down. It's rather nasty indeed. Rather nasty indeed, actually. How's our income looking? 10,000. That will go down shortly with the new militia units. I would like to rebuild the magistrates course over here, or upgrade that to a course of justice to help the repression as well. Just making notes of future investments, of course. We do have the militia over here. It is only a minus 76 upkeep, but we're going to disband that since we no longer need it there. It was only to kick out a French navy raiding our port. So, I think that's really all the movement we can do with this turn. The only decent movement, there's no point in removing the Swiss revolutionaries over here. They won't attack us. They are, of course, focused on Switzerland. Can we do any diplomacy with the new minor nations? We could certainly start trading with Bavaria. Let's try that. Do we try and demand a minor payment off of them? And when I say minor, I do mean only 500 gold off of them. Might say no. They've said yes. They took it on the chin. They don't like it at all. But profits for us. Very nice indeed. That's boosted our income by just over 1,000. Which is very nice indeed. Can we do anything with that 500 gold? Not entirely sure we can. How much was the magistrate's course over here? It was just about 3,000, so I am going to empty our coffers and build that up because of the... it's just a small investment there. Let's hope, when we end our turn now, that we can actually get this ambush off. Going to double check this over here. We probably... yeah, it's going to take 3 turns for that university to repair, which is rather nasty indeed. Going to get trade unions or joint stock company rather on the next turn, which means we can get the banking house. And actually minus 10% cost to industrial buildings is excellent. And 10 per turn to town wealth is also absolutely ruddy bloody lovely. So, fingers crossed that we can defend this and get our ambush off successfully. Wish us luck. Okay, so we do have a minor ambush over here. I think I am probably going to fight this just because auto-resolve will absolutely ruin us with losses here. So I am going to very quickly skip on over this very minor battle indeed. I was hoping to catch the larger army, of course. So we'll see about that. Let's go into the battle and see you in a second. There we go, very, very nice indeed. Of course, just managed to bash them with our cannons, very lucky there. Let's hope that this ambush stays in place. It's certainly not. That's so unlucky. It's pushed us out, actually. You can see it's moved our men for some reason out of the zone of control there, so we couldn't intercept this army with our main group over there. So which does mean we're going to lose Naples over the end turn, unfortunately. There's nothing I could do with just 3 regiments there, unfortunately. But we can see that the enemy is pretty much as we expected, with mostly militia, which means that we should be able to go in fairly easily and recapture that. And there we go. So, that's rather unlucky. Of course, like I said, would have hoped that that main army was the one that got ambushed, of course. But not to worry there. Like I said, should be able to go back in there. Thomas Kellerman has +1 substitute for infiltration. Not so bad there. We can see the French have retreated and pulled back to Strasbourg over here. That's a lot of movement, they guess, actually. Let's see if we can stagnate Napoleon's movement once again. Not so lucky this time. New nation arises. Electors of Hesse Castle. Interesting. And of course, the Italian state in Naples has come back as well. Come back to haunt us. Just can't get rid of these bloody bastards. Do we take this back, though, is the question. Do they really hate us? Is it worth the expense of men over here? How much do they hate us? The Kingdom of Italy over here. Can we go for peace? Perhaps a trade agreement? Absolutely. Probably should now go for something a little more solid. Because... might want an alliance, but I don't think that's entirely necessary, to be honest. It's a shame to lose the province, of course. That was a very nice little moneymaker for us, but it's not particularly harmed our economy there. In fact, you can see we have gained some money through that trade agreement, despite making some very nice ships over here. Some very expensive ships over here. And that's rather interesting. I'm going to pull this fleet together to make it a little more visual to see what we have over here, but I think we still need to recruit some heavy hitters, of course. So we're going to go for a couple 80 gunners once again. And I'm going to count that as pacifying the Italians over here. We did only take that as a bonus because the Russians were going for that. So 2 steps forwards, one step back, but not to worry at all. We do have our militia over here to deal with the unrest. We're going to need a couple more units, I think, to sort that out. But otherwise, we should be able to bring our full army now over to deal with the French. And we are absolutely going to do that. absolutely going to need to push in with everything we have. Go to Marseille, take on Napoleon, perhaps get some ambushes over here. We do still have the Spanish perhaps over here. We certainly do. Here they are. And I think we're going to deal with that right now, actually. We'll take our garrison force, a very quick force resolve on here. They are over the river, so that's not a problem. Just deal with that very quickly. And we will pursue them to their death. Not so worried about taking losses here. These are just reinforcements to garrison Milan and push off any minor invasions there. We can see that the Russians have taken Piedmont, which is a small problem. Let's double check we do have military access over there. It appears we certainly do, because we have to cancel it. Can we trade as top gallants? Not necessarily needed at the moment. It's going to take 14 turns for dialectics, which is rather nasty indeed, but very well worth it with the increase to technology research rate, and 15 to diplomatic relations is not inconsiderable there. Does of course unlock the next tier of these buildings as well. What exactly did semaphore lines do? Line of sight range. I would have preferred that was movement range, but not to worry. I think that's looking very nice indeed. Who is Florence, which is doing that? I don't think we've got any gentlemen here, do we? We've got a couple, but they don't have any traits to them. Might want to swap this out when Graz has trade unions unlocked there, which is rather interesting. So, I think once again, how are we looking for replenishment over here? So this is going to take a couple turns still, which is rather annoying. Rather annoying there. So we're going to start building up our economy a little bit more and start investing in these new banking houses. Where would be best to do that? I think it'd probably be best to take them in Prague and Bohemia there. Slightly better over here, a little more stable. So it's going to take 9 turns to construct this. A long time there. But I think it's about all we can do once again. Don't need to be too active. What we do need to do, I think, is push in with this particular spy. Does he have any traits? Has saboteur. Can we sabotage the army over here? I don't think we really can. What about assassinations? Not looking great, is it? Not really worth trying there. It's not worth doing anything else of spite. So what we could do is try and sabotage their military building over here. It's not going to take... It's not got the greatest chance there, has it? We can try it with this guy. Slightly better chance of success. And it's just not going to work. Small mistake, but not to worry. We have a lot of spies. We're going to keep this spy about. So we're going to keep Thomas Kellerman about. It does have the spy network established in Strasbourg, which is giving us that valuable site there. And I think here's the French Navy we're talking about. Taking Marseille is absolutely next on the list. So we're going to move up, I think, with these couple armies over here because they're going to be closest and best equipped for it. So let's ready bloody go. Okay, so we're getting the notification that the workers are on strike in the Papal States, but because we have recruited that unit of militia, we have very neutral happiness here. So I think one more unit of militia, just to make sure that's in the green. We have a merchant house in Greece, which is excellent. We're immediately going to upgrade that to a banking house. And that's some more units in the Papal States, of course. So our economy is looking the best it's ever looked. It is declining a tad because of the new recruits. But that's just, that will eventually disappear. Not necessarily worth upgrading the steam pump mine just yet, I don't think. Got to hold on to a little bit of money. Ideally, what I want to do is save money to 15,000 so we can get the Heldenplatz and get a little bit more to our tax rate. And that is our main money maker at the moment. I'm very tempted to make this banking house now that having said I want to save money. And I think really we're going to get more out of this. It's a bit of an investment. It's a long wait once again. But if we get it done, we'll find bonuses in the long run. We are fully replenished over here. So let's get going before the Russians take Marseille. But it does appear Napoleon is that. It certainly is. Garrisoning over here. So we're going to move up once again. We're going to try. Can we lay an ambush over here? We certainly can. Let's hope we don't get ambushed in return. I don't believe we will. Absolutely brilliant. So that keeps us safe for now. We're going to push up over here, lay another ambush on the road there. Not that anything's particularly threatening us, but we are not going to cross over the border just yet because we can't replenish in Allied territory like that, unfortunately. How are we looking otherwise over here? Let's bring this unit back into Milan. We've got one more turn to replenish our cannons, but then again, it's not the greatest of losses there with the cannons, so I think we are going to move up once again over here, just onto the road, I think, see if we can tempt people out into that ambush, but we're looking very strong with 3 total armies here. Do have this spy rather inactive, so what we're going to do is try and push on, I think, towards, can we get to Toulouse from here? We certainly can. Just going to push up over here, make sure nothing is waiting for us in the merchant house in Lyon over here. Certainly not just yet. I'm hoping that Napoleon can stay garrisoning over here. Can we sabotage his army? Not necessarily. Certainly not going to be able to assassinate him. Can we sabotage anything? Going to try for the courts over here. That's agent detective. We're not having the greatest of luck with our agents, are we? Even though we have quite a few subterfuge and such traits over here, it's just not happening in our favour, is it? And that's quite likely because we do have a higher ranking general governing over here at the moment, or garrisoning. So I think once again that's our expenditures done. That's all the diplomacy we can do. Not really much else to get out of this. We can't really trade a lot of technologies at the moment. There's no point allying with Naples, I don't think. That's about it. So, let's go ahead to find some action, shall we? Here we go. Did not see this coming on. So, Jean-Andre Massena has turned back up. Very, very lucky to have placed this ambush here. Not entirely sure where he's come from. Did not notice him on the maps. This is going to be a little on the rough side with still some replenishment to be done. But it is an ambush battle. Balance of power, weirdly 50-50 there. So what do we have? We have some Hibernia line over here, which is very, very nice indeed. Some more colonne d'attaque. French foot dragoons, not the worst. Interestingly, very low melee attack for dragoons, because of course they are usually mounted. But not to worry, they have stifled their main power. The cannons are not going to be a problem in an ambush battle, so it's going to take a long time to batter through the strong infantry corps here. Very lucky they only have a couple units of cavalry as well. Let's get into it. Alrighty, so we have set up for this ambush. Fairly standard tactics used over here. We're going to perform, of course, a fairly decent pincer. We've got 4 units of German Fusiliers on either side of the enemy over here. Just to get a double check where I've put our elite infantry. They are actually standing out at the moment. So where do we want to put them? I think I want to put our elite infantry. Don't need them in reserve, I don't think. Where's the colonne d'attaques? Where's their more elite infantry? The colonne d'attaques just here. I think what we're going to do is put them just over here. Actually, keep them in reserve a tad, so they can perform a certain flank over here. We're going to put our cannons over here so we can fire lengthways down their whole formation, protected by some hidden fusiliers over here, which is absolutely very nice indeed. Again, few infantry units over here to perform a pincer. We are going to try and jump on their cavalry and cannons with our own cavalry over here, waiting to pounce. We do have some hidden skirmishers, should be able to draw out their cavalry immediately, and we are going to protect those, of course, with some fusiliers of our own. We are hidden at the moment, but that won't be the case for long. Let's start the battle. Move into range, I think. So, let's get going, try and double time straight up into the enemy's face, into range there, take cover from the trees where possible. Our cannons are unlimbered and immediately firing right down through the lines. Exactly what we're looking for. We do need to keep an eye on the enemy cavalry though, of course. We're going to move in a little harder over here. The idea, of course, is to protect our skirmishers while we can. What's we doing over here? Do we need to perform a square? I think we certainly do. Perform a couple. Come on. Just about in time, perhaps? Maybe not. I think we bring our general over very, very quickly indeed. Looks like the enemy are going for a massive melee charge over here. And we will lose that because they have the force of numbers there. Very, very nasty indeed. Let's run our cavalry into their cannons before they can unlimber and set up properly. We are smiting their general over here. Already tired, very much concerned, and just shattered off the field immediately. That is absolutely perfect for us. Let's move a little closer to the enemy then, shall we? And start shooting them in the backs. And I don't think we necessarily need the square over here anymore. I might just keep that as insurance. We're going to inspire this unit to fight harder because we're in a bit of a pickle here. Got some melee contact, do we? Not necessarily. It's very interesting indeed. Let's get our cavalry out if possible. Yeah, we need to get this unit of cavalry out, I think, to just chase down over here. We're going to get flanked for the minute, so if possible, I think we're going to have to stop over here because we're going to get right in the enemy's face. It's a little too much there, a little too much. The general's taking some stray shots, not to worry at the moment. Let's bring in our elite infantry to help us over here. Make sure our cannons are still ramming the enemy through here. Absolutely disgusting. So we can target this unit over here just to help out a tad. We are certainly in range over here, just about to fire out, are we? Yes, we are. Come on. Ready, going for the colonne d'attack. Absolutely brilliant. Lovely fire by rank going out there. Oh, you love to see it. Absolutely textbook ambush here. But it looks like we need to come out with our cavalry over here. We certainly do. We're doing alright. I'm just going to make sure we form up once again. We can carry on pursuing over here. We can come out of the square, I think, now. Absolutely, because the enemy cavalry is dealt with. That is absolutely brilliant. So we are taking a few losses still, but of course look at the enemy's morale and the just complete lack of cohesion and order within their lines there. So it looks like we've chased down that unit of cavalry over here. They have completely shattered, so we're going to reorder. I think we're going to chase down this unit over here that will come back. It is of course only horse artillery, but we don't want them in our back line. We're going to charge down this group of dragoons over here, are firing right in our face. We do have units in our flank. We don't want that, so let's just chase that down. We're going to keep these units in reserve for the minute. No need to hem the enemy in too much there. How far are we going in here? I don't remember telling us to do this so much, especially since our cannons are firing in this area. I think we're going to pull back here a tad. It's not the best idea there. And of course we're going to chase down any retreating units. This colonne d'attack, very, very nasty, of course. Absolute massacre. Absolute massacre. Just bring the cavalry out once again so that we're not hemmed in there. We are rousing off this unit, and there is a victory. We will happily take that very quick, very swift ambush there. Heroic indeed. Let's see the results. So we did actually lose quite a few people there at 571 men. But not to worry, the enemy does still have a fairly sizable force remaining. We are going to have to chase that down. That ambush battle over as quick as it begun. Let's see, only a couple of regiments left there. And over the end turn, the Russians did deal with the remainder of that force, which is very, very nice for us. We do have a few things to look at though, because we no longer cite Napoleon over here. And that's rather annoying. I think what we're going to do is keep very, very suspicious that Napoleon is actually ambushing in these trees. Let's just move. No, where the bloody hell would he be? Because we can see this region over here. It's very interesting. That's very, very interesting indeed. I think we start going over to Toulouse as planned. Can't see him over there, so that makes me really wary actually of pushing through here. Let's go to our construction report. A lot of steam pumps, and we finally have our military academy in Venice. Excellent. Let's go to this. We have a lawyer for a gentleman for civil technologies over here, which is absolutely brilliant. How many? We have a lot of gentlemen over here. Absolute powerhouse for research. We have a couple more carronade frigates as well. Let's have a look at our research then. I think, yeah, that's going to take 9 turns if we use Graz to get dialectics. So let's change that over. Let's put this one on carcass shots and go for this. I'm not so worried about semaphore lines at the moment, to be honest. One more turn until we get to mass production, which is going to hurt our happiness a little bit. We need to be ready for that. Let's go to policies. Yeah, that's really going to hurt us a little bit since we have neutral happiness pretty much across the board. I think we recruit a unit of militia pretty much everywhere just to make sure this is absolutely fine. Very, but not to worry. It's a little expense, but we can certainly deal with it. It's absolutely fine. Not the greatest hit to our economy, not at all. And our economy is still fairly stable. It's 11,000 per term. But do we upgrade to an industrial iron mine over here? Reduces the cost by the tiniest bit of units in all our regions. Okay, so if that stacks, we do have quite a few mines about. That's something to keep in mind. Otherwise, I don't think it's particularly well worth it. The upgrade to wealth is not the greatest. It's a flat 200. It's just not the greatest for me. I think really want to get on these roads, to be honest, now that we do have money. I think we make metalled roads in Venice, and we make metalled roads in... We have metalled roads in Italy. Excellent. They've been built for us. So I think we make them in Vienna as well. One more turn until we get the military academy in Vienna as well. Let's see exactly what we can do now. We can get some actually decent infantry out the gates now. Accuracy on these Emperor's Own line. We only get the 1 unit of that, but we can now recruit some experienced German grenadiers, which is excellent. We can get some decent heavy and light cavalry now. The Chevaulegers is rather obsolete, but the Austrian Emperor's Own cuirassiers, normal cuirassiers, absolutely lovely. Let's see the Archduke Charles Legion. We only have the 1 use of those as well. What about the Czech Legion? So still a little limited to our main backbone. We are going to be relying on the German Fusiliers and some Grenadiers as well. But that's not necessarily a bad thing. Once again, though, what I'm waiting for is access to howitzers. We do actually have a couple available. That's rather interesting. So the Ordnance Board, we need carcass shot for the experimental howitzer. That's going to take another 8 turns. I forget which... I believe it's the experimental howitzer, which does get the explosive shots. We might have to start making those either way, though, because I do like the idea of having howitzers. Let's just review which armies will need those. It's without cannons. This one, certainly. What would we replace? I think just a couple units of line infantry is the safest bet there. Or maybe in these Landeschützen. I'm not sure we're getting the most use out of these. Definitely something else of here. We can't just rely on backbone infantry all the time. Might even just take out these Grenzers as well, because just 1 unit of skirmish is not going to do the trick there. And we'll certainly replace the 6-pounders here. So we're going to get, I think we're immediately going to get some experimental howitzers or normal howitzers over here. We're going to expend a lot of money. We're going to get, absolutely going to get as much as we can in 1 turn. Absolutely. We're going to stay here, stay in the ambush over here. We're going to, I think, stay in ambush over here. Strangely, in open road we can ambush, which is rather interesting. So if Napoleon is still about, he might well be tempted to come through here because we're in ambush stance. Can't see us unless he has a very good agent about. I think really, once again, we have expended our money, haven't we? Let's just double check our navies. We do have a couple more carronade frigates, don't we? I do like my good old carronade frigates. Always done me good. So we're going to get a couple more 80 gunners in 2 turns. And I think, do we want to send them out? Because we do still have that extremely massive French navy over here. It is a merchant navy, quite largely. That's still a lot of guns. It does require some repairs though, which is interesting. So we're going to want to raid this port as soon as possible. But like I said, there is the very high likelihood that Napoleon is here in ambush stance. I'm going to err on the side of caution here and just wait 1 more turn, I think, to see if these ambushes are successful. We do need to do a little bit of replenishment that's holding me back, but it is only cannons. Very fast-paced game today, but we're going to end the turn again. Okay, so very interesting proposal from the Kingdom of Prussia here. They're offering us top gallants so long as we pay them 170, quite a measly sum of course, but they also want us to go to war with the Kingdom of Bavaria. Mm, I'm going to have to say no to that, I think, simply because we are trading with Bavaria at the moment. I want to keep that income coming as long as possible. Um, Yeah, so I'm just going to say no here. I'm just looking at the French flags in the background there. Have a look at that in a second. Alrighty, so now that we have the freedom over the end, turn to look at those French stacks in the background. We have, of course, now got mass production. That's going straight to semaphore lines once again. We have a new spy all the way in Transylvania, though.
Yeah, my lord.
No traits at the moment, fresh out the gates, not to worry. We can certainly put him to use. We'll just send him over to Bavaria as a general move order, just get him moving at the moment. So we can see that Napoleon was not hiding in Marseille, and they have taken Switzerland, which means that we do still need to garrison and protect Milan over here. But that's absolutely fine. Just make sure our borders are safe. We're going to lay an ambush in the mountains over here. Trade route has been raided once again by a couple Spanish ships. Not the greatest hit to our economy there. We have another gentleman in northern Italy, and that's absolutely brilliant. Does he have any traits? He certainly does. +1 happiness is interesting. Very much needed, of course. I wonder if that does work if he's inside the university, or if we'd have to put him inside the town. We'll have to see about that. And he helps with industrial technologies as well. So this is attached to, let's see, Florence, I suppose it will be attached to Milan. Let's have a look at our happiness. 19 and 15.
Sir?
Chuck him in there. Yeah, it has to be in the town for that, but not to worry. That's a new trait for me. I've not seen that on gentlemen before. +2 subterfuge for infiltration on Kellerman. Not to worry there. Doing a bloody good job. Have some Egyptian infantry corps over here, which is rather interesting. The French do get a very, very diverse roster. But it is this problem, the Switzerland problem. It really is. Because that means they've eliminated the Prussians. I think it's a bloody good idea we didn't go to war with the Kingdom of Bavaria over here, because the Prussians have pretty much been annihilated and forced out of Strasbourg and Switzerland over here. Can we? This guy does not have a general here. If we take our agents, can we sabotage the army? We really can't. That is terrible success for an army without a general there. Absolutely terrible. We're going to have to, I think, just get this guy's skill up if possible. We're going to have to risk it for a biscuit. It's absolutely brilliant. But that will only give a sabotage mission trait, but it does increase the overall level, which is very nice indeed. We have the military academy in Vienna as well, which is absolutely brilliant. We might have a look at creating a more modern army with our income now. Because if we double check, let's have a look. Where's a standing army I can just have a look at over here? We have this guy who may lay an ambush anywhere, and that is absolutely disgusting. Absolutely disgusting trait. So we're going to start making an army here, I think. We're going to make a rather elite army. What do we start with for our backbone? I think we start with some German grenadiers, because they're just that much better. Accuracy 34, morale 9. According to, even with double chevron German fusiliers, morale's just that much better. So I think we're certainly going to make a backbone of grenadiers here. And that will mean we can recruit that general over the next turn. And we're going to help out the recruitment over here as well. Going to start making, I think, some heavy cavalry. Their speed, can we look at their speed at all? No, we can't. So might as well get those over the chevaux légers. They can hide in woodland, but I mean, it's not really too useful for cavalry, because you don't want them fighting in woodland anyway. So let's get, I think, we will start off with 3 of those for now. And I think we'll start getting some. I would like some light infantry, but we're going to start on our backbone still. We're going to go for some German grenadiers once again. And of course we will have access to the cannons coming out very soon as well. So, I think, can we expend anything else? It's not great to have so much money in your bank all the time. Is there any point in upgrading anything? Might want to upgrade our roads still. I think also going for the course of justice to help our oppression and tax income is also a good idea. So we're going to go for, I think, we're going to go for the higher income places such as Olmütz and Moravia over here. Let's go for that, and that means we can upgrade the iron mines as well over here later down the line. So only 6 gold in our treasury here. We're going to try and get one more battle in. This is going to be a mega episode, but it's not been quite enough action for my liking, and I like to get things done. It has been fairly slow paced recently. We're going to try and go for Marseille, I think. So let's get our armies moving. Let's try and circumvent the Spanish over here, and just make sure we get over here. We can lay an ambush over here. No enemy ambush in return is absolutely brilliant, which means, what's the zone of control here? Just over here on the mountains. So if we hide on this mountain over here, that also covers the road. So if the Spanish do get cocky and try going through the road over here, we should have that covered. Let's get going. And that's very, very lucky indeed. That must have been a failed ambush on us. As soon as we end the turn, we've got a single unit of French conscripts. We're just going to auto-resolve that. Ooh, that was a bad idea. Look at how many we lost. See, auto-resolve hates you in this game. Very, very bad idea indeed, but we're just going to take it. Well, the name of the game is Ambush, Ambush, Ambush today. So, defending Milan over here, it looks like Fyodor Buxhoven over here is ambushing Etienne MacDonald over here. But we're also going to join as well. We have 3 armies, a battle of 3 armies. Certainly going to go into this one and help him out. Okay, so this is a very interesting start. Because we are the second reinforcing army, this is going to be very cinematic because I don't believe we're going to get to control over the Russian army here. So let's just start. Alrighty, so reinforcements are turning up. Where from? To the flank over here. This is our staff. Excellent, which means we are going to come in. Just depends how the Russians deal with this ambush, to be honest. Not liking that. Not liking the Chasseurs Cheval coming straight for our reinforcements. We're going to have to sit back with our general, I think, for the minute, for the time being. Pull forwards with our cavalry here. Form just a little border over our general, a little barricade, because the Chasseurs Cheval can, if they want to, get a lucky shot in and kill our general in one volley. So I'm just going to make a little barricade over here for that. So what are the Russians doing? They're going to try and sit on the hill over here, apparently. The heavy cuirassiers over here, is that saying? A heavy cavalry reserve going straight for the musketeers over here. Look at that. Not having the greatest charges, 0 cohesion there. Because they're going straight through their line infantry. We have the general staff over here being threatened. Look at this. Look at this. Just the generals versus generals doing a little duel over here. We need to watch our own reinforcements still. Just gonna once again just come through here. We might want to use our own cavalry to, of course, come to the enemy's flank very quickly. We'll have a look at that. It's like that we could fight this without taking any losses ourselves. We do have... if the Russians do this properly. Only charge of the light brigade over here. Look at this. They're going to get there though. And this is going to be quite an impactful charge because the Russian musketeers do not have a lot of morale themselves. Even though these ones in particular are triple chevroned. Look at that. Looks like some Russian cannons are having some good luck in the centre over here. A little skirmish from some musketeers over here, the Chasseurs Cheval. But some no, they're going for a melee charge. Okay. Interesting choice. Backed up by some, is that Lancers? Lance Hussars. Not the greatest. You can see the power of the French shock tactics there on the low morale of the Russians. Not great at all. We're coming in now though. We're going to have to pick up the bloody pieces as usual. I think we take this hill over here very quickly. And we can start moving up with our cavalry. What we'll do is we'll just sit in the trees over here. can see the French general staff. There might be an idea to try and rush him down with our cavalry while he's open, actually. Might well be an idea, because he can't stand up to a unit of light cavalry. While the enemy cavalry is engaged as well. And stop being indecisive, take these 2 units over, sprint them over. Don't care if they get tired at the moment. Need to take advantage of all the havoc of this. This is the most disgusting battle I've ever seen. Keep gaining chevrons just before they retreat, though. Having said that, the Russians are putting on a small stand here, but we are going to have to pick up the pieces. Absolutely going to have to pick up the pieces here. But that's not too much of a problem. I think what we do is we just come around the corner here. What we do, again, I think, is we position ourselves over here. We're going to diamond up. Help our own charges out. We have to be careful with this square here. Still got some Russian artillery coming in. Where's that stationed? Over here. So they have a few 6-pounders over here, moving in with some more 6-pounders. Not late enough in the game to see the iconic Russian unicorn artillery, so hated in this game. But I think what we can do is we can risk going for that general over here. Let's double time that. Can we run in here to help out this unit of Russians? I think we can, but we're going to be careful with this square. That will be able to shoot us in the back. I think what we do is we tempt out over here. Very awkward to manoeuvre with your diamonds. I'm going to go for this unit of cannons. Oh, that's not the greatest. Might actually want to go for this, the back of the Swiss line over here. Let's stop that. Move. We'll let this diamond actually come out for that, and we'll charge straight into the general staff over here. Not entirely sure it's a glorious victory, my good man. We will have one. Okay, so we're engaged over here. Let's pull out before we get too stuck into this massive melee. And go into the back of the Swiss line to help out our Prussian allies over here. Get their general. Perform a glorious deed for the Empire. And for the coalition at large. This is with our lancers, but the general staff is abysmal in melee. We can see that we can go straight into the French infantry over here. If we pulled out properly, we certainly have. Let's go into the back over here. What are we doing? We need to get out. I think we've certainly killed their general, which is excellent. We've made contact with the Swiss line over here. Hopefully the Prussians, no, they can't fire in the backs. They are tied up with some militia. They are winning that fight. We're going to pull out over here. That's a fair few units. Actually, we only lost 1 man there. Rather interesting. The Prussians are taking on this unit for us, which means we can get into the back, into the loose formation over here. Oh, that is absolutely brilliant. If we can win this without taking too many losses, I think that's going to be the case now. Because if our infantry come in, we can just shoot in the back. So let's take up this position here. Only use a couple of regiments will be absolutely fine. Let's get into the back here, help out our Russian allies, their hussars. Try and get them out of the melee there. We need to cycle charge here and be wary of friendly fire coming in from the musketeers over here. Let's counter charge into the flank over here, help this out. We have some chasseurs cheval to get rid of. And once we're out here, we can cycle charge back round. Should be able to just about face here. We certainly are going straight for that. Coming into this charge a little softly here. Not so much impact. We've completely shattered the Swiss line over here, and I think that is a victory for us. And it absolutely is. So that is absolutely astounding. Oh, very rarely see massive alliance battles myself, so it's a lovely pleasure to take hold of that. A very nice heroic victory indeed. That does save us the job of taking on a very strong French army by ourselves there. Very, very nice indeed. Very happy. Let's go to the results. And there we go. So, I can't see, of course, the overall losses. Can we see? This is, of course, ours. So we lost 43 in this unit of Chevalets, but they did get a very nice chevron there. A couple more on these Chevaulegers over here. That's about it. So really not a lot of losses at all there. Absolutely brilliant. This is rather an interesting move indeed. Ally declares war on ally. Russia has declared war on Sweden. This is not the time to be going to war with Russia. Absolutely not. So we can't enter the war on the side of Sweden. So we're going to have to decline that and stay on the good side of the Russians at the moment, I think. So let's decline that. Okay, so the Russians are also asking us to join the war more actively in exchange for top gallants. I think we're going to remain neutral and say no to that. Top gallants is not a good enough price. It's going to have to take top gallants and some real money for us to go into that. Okay, so the trades agreement with Bavaria has been cancelled. I believe that's probably because they've been destroyed. Let's have a look at that. Nation joins your enemies. Kingdom of Bavaria. Interesting. That's why they have removed the trade agreement. But it looks like Blucher might... I don't know. I would question whether he can do this, actually. It seems rather battered over here. Although Bavaria doesn't have the greatest garrison over here. But what's more interesting, actually, is if we look at Switzerland once again, we do have Napoleon over here. Path blocked. Interesting. Not to worry. Let's bring him over a little bit further so we get some increased sight. So, what do we have over here? We are still ambushing. But I think what we want to do is lay ambush. I think we're just in the enemy territory over there. And the next turn, I think, will be... we're going to be coming into the winter months now. So just change our ambush position so that they do still cover Milan and the approach there, but we are in our own territory there, which is excellent. So, recruitment. Losser. We have a losser. We also have an empty construction. That's going to be a bug. We also have +3 to command when attacking on land with this lovely young general here. But I think we are going to leave it there today, guys. We've got a nice couple of battles in there, and we're starting to progress further into France and deal with these massive French armies coming in. I think we're in a very nice position now that we have our flank secure in Italy. So, thank you very much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed the video. Please do leave your feedback in the comments section below. It's always very helpful to see those. It gives me some direction. So, I hope all of your nights and days are auspicious. Goodbye.